let's take a look at how combat, the damage system, and fatigue works in Port Royal. So, when you are looking at your characters, you will see stats like this. And let's say this is their shoot stat. So the number on the left is their skill to hit a target. The number on the right is their save versus that same kind of attack. So if it's a shoot and it says 6-7, that means their target number to hit a target is 6. The target number to save against a shooting attack is 7, and vice versa. So let's say that these two guys are wanting to shoot at each other. So this guy over here has pistols. So the pistols use the short range measuring stick. And so you would do like this, and this guy's in long. So his shoot skill starts at a 6. But if you're within short range, there's no penalty. Medium range is -1. And long range is, well, +1 for medium, +2 for long. And the reason why it's pluses, that may seem weird, but that's going to take your 6 target number +2 is going to make it an 8. So now your target number is harder to hit. This game also takes for granted, it assumes that you're in cover because it's supposed to be played on a table with a lot of terrain. So it's assuming that you're in cover. If you're not in cover and this guy was just wide out in the open, then his save, which is 6, is going to get a +2. But right now he is in cover, and we'll just keep it like that for now. So now, because of the range increment, the pistol is going to need an 8 to hit. So I'm just going to fudge these real quick for the sake of the example. So this guy rolled 1-8. You see how there's one different colored die on both these? That's because in this game, on the opposed test, you always roll 3 dice, but 1 dice has to be your primary, so it needs to be a different color. The reason why that matters is your criticals only trigger if it's on your primary. So a 1 is a critical failure. Not everything has a critical failure consequence. So like a grenade, critical failure, you drop it on your feet. But for just a regular pistol shot, there's nothing, it just misses. It just counts as a miss. Now, critical success on a 10, it counts as 2 successes, but that only triggers on the primary die. So in this instance, he's rolled 1 success. This guy over here, his target number is a 6. He has 0 successes. So what that means is 1 hit has gone through. So if he had 1 success and he had tied, then it would just be done. Nothing happens. It's over. But since he didn't roll any successes, that means the pistol is going to have 1 damage go through. So the way the damage test is done, the target number for the damage test starts at 10. Different weapons, different attacks have keywords or abilities or damage modifiers that can change that. So I believe a pistol, I'm trying to remember this off the top of my head, I believe a pistol is -1. It might be -2. So that means your damage test, I have 1 success, so I'm going to roll a die. I need a 10. If a pistol is -1, that means you need a 9, so it makes it a little easier. So if I roll this and I get a 9, that's 1 success. This guy just dies. He's already made his saves. It was done in the opposed roll, and he missed all of his saves. So a successful damage test, meaning this guy dies. So what happens if I fail the damage test? Let's say I rolled a 3. Well, this is how the fatigue mechanic comes in. At that point, this guy is going to get a fatigue for having been hit but shrugging off the damage, and then he'll also have to take a fatigue test for every failed damage test. So, for instance, if I had rolled on my original roll like this, and that would be 1, 2, 3, 4 successes, and he still had 0, then I would be taking 4 damage tests versus this guy. And if I fail to kill him with any of those, then that's 4 fatigue tests he's going to have to take on top of the 1 automatic that he gets just for being shot. And then to do the fatigue test, you take a resolve test. So for that one, you're just rolling a D10 versus your resolve stat, and you're trying to beat your resolve stat. The fatigue system, you know, all the blood games from Firelock have fatigue systems, but this one is different than all the other ones. But the cumulative effects of the fatigue is pretty similar. On the chart, having 1 fatigue on you doesn't hurt you at all. Having 2 fatigue on you means that you get 1 less action on your turn. Having 3 fatigue on you, it starts to build up to where now you're shaken and you can't do anything. And if you get up to 6 fatigue, then you're just knocked out. You flee as if you were a casualty. Let's see, the other thing that fatigue does on you. So say this guy in a previous turn had survived 2 damage tests, so he has 2 fatigue on him. Well, now when my pistol shoots at him, my damage test is going to be reduced by 1 for each fatigue on the guy. So if it starts at 10, -1 for the weapon puts me at a 9, -2 for the 2 fatigue on him. That means my target number to damage him is now 7. So fatigue is a bad day. You need to, well, you're going to want to keep that off of you as much as possible. You could take a rally action on your turn to try to clear fatigue, but yeah, that's how that works. Now, on the flip side, this guy has a musket. So the musket uses the long range stick. See the difference? So short range weapons like blunderbusses and pistols use the short range. Long range weapons like rifles and bows use the long range. It's still the same, no penalty, +1, +2, but the range bands are different. So for him to shoot back, he's actually in a more favorable position because he's only at a +1 because it's only medium range with his musket. But that's how the damage in the fatigue system works.